And I believe that the lack of trust many times stems from, number one, hurt and trauma. So someone might not trust their husband because growing up, they saw their father or their father figure doing certain things.
I've just left home.
I don't miss you yet.
I'm at work. It's like 30 minutes later. I miss you already. It might happen like in the first few weeks, months. Then after that,
you're used.
Yeah, there are some people who talk in the morning, like good morning, and then they talk again at night.
Many people have questions about different aspects of marriage, finances, children, sex. We're going to be answering all that and sharing what we really know for sure, our opinions. So I think the biggest elephant in any room where people are talking about marriage is finances. So babe, what do you know for sure about finances?
Well, I think in a marriage, it's one of those foundational things. There's God and there's finances, because a home just can't run without a good financial backing. So it's important to have that discussion all the time, because when we get married, we are at a certain level, but as we grow in marriage, as the years proceed, we keep rising or
falling.
Rise, because you may find that one of us might work or both of us will be working. Then at some point, one of us gets out of working, or one of us is laid off, or things like that. So the communication has to be consistent, and I think it's very key to share our goals together, what we want, where we see ourselves maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now. How do we want to use our money? How do we? Yeah, otherwise there will always be a conflict about how come you use the money for this? I didn't know how do you spend your money? Is this something that is this how you are raised?
Yeah. So what I know for sure about finances is that it's they're up and down. There'll be seasons of plenty and seasons of hand to mouth, or even less than you need. And what a marriage would require to survive those seasons is unity between the couple and openness. Yeah. So even just the vulnerability of someone coming and saying, hey, like even if it's the husband, like, hey babe, I'm broke. Yeah. So that humility and the vulnerability to come and share. Because money, when there's no money, I believe it affects the husband's ego a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So the husband knowing that my wife is a safe space and I can come and tell you, like, you're not going to, your esteem is not going to take a hit because I've given you money to fuel a car, but you know that I am a safe space for you. So I feel like it's important for everyone to know that finances, money takes an up and down. Even if you're the richest person, there'll be a point where like your money is not at its peak. You might still be comfortable, but it has reduced. So just being open and united in finances, I believe is important.
Yeah. But also it shouldn't be the driving force of whether I'm happy or not. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's a tool.
Yeah.
So we should, even the Bible talks about how we should flee from the love of
money.
Yeah. But rather understand its importance and use it for that importance.
What do I know for sure about submission is that it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Like you think that today I've submitted, I'm a submissive wife, and then tomorrow something just raises its head. You're like, nada.
Or at the end of that day.
Or even at the end of that day, and you have to submit. So for me, I have found that it's a continuous dying to self. We're listening to a sermon. Were we listening to it together?
No.
And they said that a dead person can't smell burnt food.
Oh yeah, we listened to that one together.
We're together. A dead person doesn't smell burnt food. A dead person doesn't see that the husband
Dead bodies cannot smell burnt food. They can't they can't feel.
Yeah. So a continuous dying to self, like if I can still see your flaws and they affect me like that, then I have not died to self, because I've put myself in the judgment seat of how come you're doing this? How come you're doing this? But I've not taken time to look at myself. I've not taken time. Like, who am I to judge a child of God? I put myself in a judgment seat, which is not my position. So that's what I've learned about submissions, that it's not easy, but it's going to take a continuous dying to myself, dying to pride, and just humbling myself, because as I try to remove the speck from your eye, there's a log in mine.
I believe it's something we have to learn, that submission is not a switch. Like when you get married, you don't just switch.
I'm submissive. Yeah.
Or as a husband, you switch, now I'm loving, because then why are you married?
Yeah. Or even 10 years married and you say, me, I'm a submissive wife. No.
Yeah, it takes time.
It's a continuous journey.
It takes time, but it's also something that God teaches us. You'll always have a lesson that God is teaching you.
On submission.
On submission, yeah. Because it can be quite frustrating, especially when you know you're right, but you have to submit. Yeah. So it's,
and you watch, like now, say I have to submit and I know that I'm submitting. Say we've had a discussion about something and I believe that my opinion is the right one.
Yeah.
But because you're the head of the family, you will take the lead. And then I see us walking into a pit, and I think that is the most challenging for me, where I have to submit knowing that we are not making the right decision. And I think I've done that once.
No, you haven't.
Sweetie, I have done it.
It worked. Whatever you submitted worked.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
Well,
should I say what
failed? Thank you for submitting.
And I didn't even come back to say I told you so. I just kept quiet and we took our loss together.
Yeah.
What is submission, baby?
Well, I think submission, my understanding of submission is surrendering or letting go of yourself. I think you talked about it, dying to self. Yeah.
Yeah, that means you don't have an opinion.
Yes.
That means you don't have a brain, don't have a say. Yeah.
It's more of a sacrificial decision.
Yeah. Baby, what do you know for sure about love?
Love gets more difficult after the wedding.
Tell me more. How was it before the wedding? Butterflies.
I think because we didn't live together.
Yeah.
Before we got married. So it makes it easy. Just text, I'm home, I miss you already. What? When are we meeting again? But now
I'm in the house.
In the house. I've just left home.
I don't miss you.
I'm at work. It's like 30 minutes later. I miss you already. It might happen like in the first few weeks, months. Then after that,
you're used.
Yeah, there are some people who talk in the morning, like good morning, and then they talk again at night.
I don't think
or
that's
in the
healthy,
evening when they
though.
get home. It's not healthy, but it wasn't like that. And so I think it's something. Love is a decision, and I think it is more significantly important for the husband to understand what love means. Because when you understand how Christ loves you, you start to think how you love your wife. Because you might marry a woman who maybe has a challenge with bearing children. You might have a challenge. We might marry a woman who just never keeps time. Whatever the case, whether you wake up early, whether you'll be late, you might marry a woman who. That's so funny. Yeah. You might marry a woman who just can't get off candy. Choc So you might find that your wife is somebody who has issues with temper. You might find your wife is probably the kind that just cannot come back home on Fridays, and yet you said your vows to have and hold, which are for who uphold, the vows, and it's a journey. It's not like you're going to go back to the pastor, the priest, and say, I just can't do this
Take
anymore.
back.
Yeah. So love, and yet she wasn't like that before you got married. So love, for me, from my experience, has been a continuous. It's like God keeps holding your hand to just say, come, just relax. Just give her another chance. Give her another chance. Give her another chance. And the chances, sometimes you feel like you're running out of them.
Count.
Yeah, but the more you do, then God also works on
you,
the wife. Yeah, even you, the husband. Yeah. So you find that men who really actually love their wives are also patient men, and I feel like that's why maybe you find that a number of them are Arsenal fans. Yeah.
Okay. What I know for sure about love is that it's more than a feeling. It's a decision.
It's a decision.
Yeah. You're not going to, like those butterflies that you're looking for, you're not going to constantly feel them. There'll be times when the butterflies are sleeping. Sometimes the butterflies will die. And you wait for the eggs to go through the process again. Yeah. So love is going to be a constant decision. Like you wake up in the morning and choose to love, choose to love sacrificially, choose to love wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the love thing, it's important to, I feel like in finances, love really, even
It
the
cuts
Bible.
across.
Yeah, it really cuts across a multitude of, because in finances, you're going to have to love your person. Because usually there's going to be one who loves money and one who loves, but there's one who spends the money and there's one who hoards the money. And there's a category where there's one who is very stingy and one who is needy. There's also that category. So how are you going to love your husband and yet
loving when you feel like someone is unlovable?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that's such a high calling. Loving is a high calling, because what will stop me from rolling my eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what Christ does.
What do you know for sure about sex, baby?
I answered the previous one, so you go first.
What I know for sure about sex is that it gets better. Is that it's a learning journey. Like you see how the movies lie to us, like it's her first time and then she's pleading, and then even the novels. No, it will most likely not happen like that in real life. But it's a journey where you get to learn one another, learn together, and it gets better with time. Yeah. And it's not always hot and steamy. Sometimes it's just dutiful.
I didn't know that bit, but I think you said it all. I think you said it all.
You say it in your own words. What do you know for sure?
I think it's when you think about sex as a husband or a wife, you should have the attitude of generosity. Yeah, meaning that your intention should mostly be
to please
the other person.
Yeah. To serve the other person.
Yes.
Not just to lie down like a log.
That's
and
right.
Be served.
That's right.
Okay, baby, what do you know for sure about children?
I feel like time is flying so fast. And I don't, sometimes it's difficult to find the time to just spend with them, days and days with them. So today, like a few days ago, our the little boy just said my name, and
It was
It was
last
amazing.
night when you came back and I was trying to put him to sleep.
Yeah,
And
it was yesterday morning.
And he said, Dada.
Yeah.
It was so sweet.
Yeah. And he was just born yesterday. And I feel like we don't have time. So I try to see what I can do in the time I have.
Moment.
Yeah. But I don't take it for granted that we have them.
Yep.
Because it's not easy.
Automatic.
It's not automatic, yeah. So many things have to be in place.
Yeah.
And I also believe that there's no mistake child and there's no accident. Yeah, even if your child is born 3 months after the one
before?
3 months after the birth of another, even if another one is conceived, that conception is not.
It's not a mistake.
Yeah.
God knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What I know for sure about children in marriage is that some people will find it easy to have them and others, their journey might be longer. Yeah. But I've also learned that children are a blessing. They come and change the dynamics of the marriage. They change the dynamics of the home, but they are a blessing and they're only with us for a short time. So I'm also learning to be more present, to allow you to father our children in the way that you see fit. Because as moms, many times we want to like hover and say, no, shower the baby like this. No, hold the baby like this. But I'm learning to allow you to be their dad, to father them in the way that you see fit. And I'm also learning as a mom to allow my babies to live.
To be.
Yeah, to be without me hovering over there. No, don't do that. Don't climb that. Don't do that. Yeah. So I'm learning to breathe and allow them to be kids. Yeah. Can a marriage survive without chemistry? Yes, we had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
We did.
I think it's more difficult.
Without chemistry?
Yeah. We had if you read or if you ask your parents, you find that their parents were not exactly compatible, but they probably were just arranged. Somebody sent a letter or sent a person to their home and said, I have my son, please, your daughter, we shall send this number of cows or goats or etc. So a marriage actually can survive.
Without chemistry?
Well, it can happen without chemistry.
The chemistry can come along.
The chemistry has to come. It has to come. Otherwise, it won't last. I don't think it will last long if there's no chemistry. But it's important for you to have chemistry before. It makes the marriage much easier because it's always better. It's awesome. It's fun to marry your friend.
Yeah. I feel like the chemistry even grows. Chemistry would be attraction, right?
Attraction, similar interests, things.
I feel like it even grows.
To be with each other.
Yeah, I feel like it grows even as the marriage grows. Yeah, so I feel like it's important that a couple has chemistry before. Yeah. It might not be the earth-shattering, but at least there's attraction, and then it can grow as you get to know one another.
And I think yes, it can grow as you if you have the time, if you're not in a hurry, maybe you're not very much older, in what they say, you're getting married late, whatever the theory says. If you still have time, and you can give it some time.
Yeah.
Befriend this person, maybe spend some time together, go out together,
date one
another. Yeah. But with intention to marry them rather than
just
getting them in a bedroom. Just try to get to know them, try to understand them, see their emotional intelligence, how they behave.
Yeah.
What are their passions?
People,
and then thereafter, you'll notice the chemistry starting to grow. Yeah.
And I think the chemistry even cuts across beyond the physical, like sex and what, but there are people who are attracted to one's intelligence. They're attracted to how one speaks. So there are different kinds of attraction that one can have. But it's just that when you look at your person, you feel some sort of admiration, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you text them good morning, it's like, wow.
Finally. You always feel wow when I say good morning.
Yes.
Your wise husband. Baby, what do you know for sure about trust?
Trust. You know the famous statement. Yeah, it can be lost in what?
In seconds.
And it takes what?
It takes a while to build it back.
Yeah, it takes a while to build it back. So when you're married, it's important for you to, I think trust comes from a point of communication. Yeah, the more you communicate, the easier it is, or the you sort of give your relationship an element of trust. Yeah. I feel like different seasons can cause different behaviors or different attitudes towards each other. You may find that you may not trust me in certain areas, or I may not trust you in certain, or to do certain things. But generally, when we look at trust as trust, it takes time, but it comes from, it's built over it needs the foundation of communication. Yeah. I'm here, I'll be home at this time, I'm doing this and this and this and this. Okay. Yeah.
What I know for sure about trust is that it can be broken very easily. And I believe that the lack of trust many times stems from, number one, hurt and trauma. So someone might not trust their husband because growing up, they saw their father or their father figure doing certain things. Maybe he would say one thing and not deliver, or he would say, I'm here, and maybe he's with someone else. So it comes from a place of hurt and trauma. So it's important that one recognizes their source of mistrust and starts to deal with it, because but the thing that it does is that you're coming into this marriage and you're putting a baggage on your spouse, and he has no business carrying that baggage. Like for him, he has come, he's committed to loving, to being faithful, and then you're bringing your trauma from an unfaithful dad or an unfaithful ex-boyfriend, and you're putting this on your husband. So if you realize that you have an issue of trust, it's first a you problem before it's another person's problem. Yeah.
So what if somebody has actually lost your trust?
If someone has lost your trust, it's first a you decision to decide whether you want to try to trust this person again. Because you wanting to trust this person again comes from a place where you have forgiven them completely, and you've given them a clean slate to prove it to you again that they are trustworthy. So you can't do all the work for me to trust you when I've not made the decision to trust you. If I see you as an adulterer, as a cheat, I'm always going to see you as that until I give you the room to paint over a clean slate afresh.
Right.
Yeah, so it's easy to break the trust, but it's also possible to build it back. It's just much more difficult. Yeah. If you discover, say now we've been having issues in the marriage, and then I discover that it's me, like I have issues of trust. I've come in with this baggage of all men cheat. How do I then recover that?
One, you talked about it. It's a me problem. You have to work on your mind. How? When you have the Spirit of God, and you offer yourself as a living sacrifice, right? No. Offer yourself as a living sacrifice. Then you do not conform to the standards of
this world,
and be renewed by. How is your mind transformed? In the Word of God. Whatever you think or hear from the surrounding,
check it against the Word of God.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the Word of God says something else, then maybe it's better for you to trust the Word of God. However, there's something that I read. My book is far away, but everyone gets into the marriage with some kind of damage. Yeah. Maybe you were abused. Maybe you
watched abuse happening.
You watched abuse happen. Maybe you had some bullying going on, or you had a low self-esteem, etc. We all have issues, okay? But when we get married, it is my responsibility to help you recover from some of those things. That's my responsibility as your husband. And God expects me not to judge you based on who you are and what you have become, but he expects me to help you heal from that kind of stuff. Yeah, because each one of us will behave a lot according to how we grew up. A perfect example, while you were growing up, your father would drop you wherever you're going every Sunday.
He still does even.
Yeah, if you call him now, he could probably drop you. Every Sunday, maybe you go and eat chicken, I don't know where. Maybe you have family altar every day. Maybe you always washed your clothes yourselves, etc. Okay, then we get into this marriage. We are clashing because I've bought you a car, but you still want me to drive you to wherever you want to go. But me, I'm thinking the most practical thing is
drive yourself.
Drive yourself. You have a car, you have fuel, you know how to drive, you have a permit. When it comes to Sundays, maybe we just can't. So maybe I want to watch football. You probably want the whole family to go and buy chicken. So as we grow in this marriage journey, there is love and submission. Love and submission. And then there's living and cleaving. So as we cleave, there are certain, what do they call it? Certain habits, certain cultures that will drop.
You have to drop, yeah.
There are some which you shall pick on. There are some which you shall create together. Yeah. But all that is a lot. It's really is a lot dependent on the man, the husband, because I'm sort of a lot of. If you notice, a lot of women marry people who are a bit similar to their fathers. Or who have similar traits. Yeah. Or some say, I'll never marry a man like that. But usually
it's either the extreme or
so
similar.
Yeah, if your father was a really cool guy, he treated you in a certain way. If you meet a man similar, usually you might be a little more attracted
to him.
Yeah. So I'm not your father, but I have to try my best to help you heal in that area of your trauma.
Wow.
What do you know for sure about purpose
in marriage?
In marriage, yes.
What I know for sure is that I feel like that every marriage should have a purpose as a couple, but that doesn't take away the purpose you have as an individual and the purpose that I have as an individual. But it also calls for your spouse to be able to support your purpose. They might not fit exactly in that purpose, but they're able to support you. Like maybe they will pay your videographer, or they will come on that day and carry things. If say your purpose is to create this kind of content, media. So I believe that every couple has a purpose, and then we each have individual purposes, but we support one another. Yeah. What do you know for sure about purpose?
Yeah, I feel like it's something which we have to also communicate a lot about in our marriages.
Yeah.
Because if you come from a family, again, talked about background, if you come from a family of achievers, people who are, results oriented, top tier, creme de la creme. Excellence is the top, is the order of the day. If you're not maybe with a master's degree
you can't sit with us.
You can't just have one master's degree. You need to have a PhD. Whenever there are family engagements, parties and stuff. So what paper are you writing lately? And then they sort of ask, now so what are you doing with your life? It's like you're, wasting time.
Yeah.
It's key for us to have that communication in place. Why? Because I might do law. But because as a family, we were really results oriented, and our education system sometimes, then there was not, some of us didn't have the opportunity to really choose what we want, because some things are not available.
Yeah.
But then somehow you're practicing law, but
you didn't go to school for it.
Yeah. But the thing about purpose is that you find yourself in walking in purpose the closer you walk
with God.
Yeah. So you can't just say, I feel like
this is my purpose.
Yeah, I feel like maybe tailoring is my thing. Maybe it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
But you haven't taken it to God. You have to keep walking with the journey, and somehow God makes a way. Somehow you feel it strongly, or someone will even tell you, you know what? And then you find that your spouse will tell you, I'm quitting at the end of this year. And now the support that comes in is, now you, the logical one, maybe usually there are those, So you might say, okay, how much money do you have saved? Shall we survive as a family if you just instantly quit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Yeah. And I think I would also encourage that couples ask one another, like, how can I support you? Because sometimes you might not fully understand your person's purpose. Like my husband, I know, is called to change the car industry, the automotive industry in this country and probably the globe. And I don't understand so much about cars, but I try and learn, and I try to see how I can support you with the little that I have, like the little knowledge that, okay, can I be the one to hold the camera? Like, if that's how I can support you, then I will do it. Yeah.
The support, the support has to come through.
Yeah.
I know that there's some clients I've customers I've got just by supporting you. Supporting you there. Yeah. Okay. So what do you know for sure about vulnerability in marriage?
Is that it's important. It's important for a marriage to grow. You have to be vulnerable. And I think the first time I ever saw you cry, we had been married 6 months. 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like
not before.
Okay, maybe on our wedding
That's
day.
Tears of joy.
You just had tears of joy in your eyes. And then I don't think you cried on the day you proposed. You did. You were too nervous. Yeah, but I believe that it's important for a couple to have vulnerability, like where you're able to come and, like, that conversation that really breaks you, the one that you can't have with anyone else, you're able to have it with your spouse, and know that this is a safe space where you're not afraid to cry, you're not afraid to share. Because sometimes when we're being vulnerable, some of those things that tick us off are things that someone else might call stupid or dumb. Yeah. But knowing that I can come to this place and I know I'm not going to get judgment, I'm actually going to get support. Like, you can tell me, but babe, that one, yeah, I know that this is my safe space. I know I'm not going to be judged. Yeah. So I believe that every couple should get to that point of being vulnerable. Even there's a friend of mine who was sharing her journey with mental health, and I think her husband was one of the people that she had to tell first. But it was not an easy thing, because she was wondering, aren't I going to get judged? Like, will this guy still want to be here? She even told him, you know what, if you don't want, you can just go, because I have a lot of like, now I have mental health challenges. So I believe that every couple, every marriage should get to a point where they're not afraid to be vulnerable, because I know that this is my safe space. He's not going to judge me. He's going to try and make sure that I am okay. Yeah.
But do you see how all these things are connected? Because I can't be vulnerable
without communicating, without loving, without trusting.
Yeah, because a number of things have to sort of be in place.
Yeah,
I can't be vulnerable with you in finances if I don't trust you, right? And if we don't have a certain chemistry, then it makes it difficult for us to be vulnerable. So I feel like vulnerability, it works hand in hand, or you can call it intimacy. Yeah, vulnerability can be intimacy, because when we are intimate spiritually, when we're intimate physically, financially, etc., it makes it easy to be vulnerable. Yeah.
I think you're preempting another video. You can let us know if you have any questions about marriage. If there's a topic that we have not touched on, we shall be engaging you in the comments. And if you watch to this end and you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe, join the Sunshine community, and like, share this video
with a friend.
And
an enemy.
And your enemies. We shall see you next Thursday. Remember, we are rooting for you.
Yep.